Greetings, YouTubians. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in before this video starts on the Monterey Bay Knives EWC and specify towards the end of the video I mentioned the Rosalinda. That was a mistake on my end. I actually meant to say the Old Guard as the new release that's coming out from Monterey Bay Knives here very soon. So my bad on that. I didn't really have the time to go back and refilm the whole video, and I didn't notice it until I had already was just about to upload it, and I thought, oh crap, that's not right. So I am talking about the Monterey Bay Knives Old Guard that is releasing, I believe, Wednesday the 4th. November 4th or 5th, something like that. My dates are a little confusing right now. I'm a little scatterbrained. I've had so much crap going on. But I was talking about the Old Guard, not the Rosalinda. The Rosalinda is coming, I believe, early 2021, to the best of my knowledge. But that was my bad. I apologize for that. And just wanted to put this in there before the video to correct that. So thanks, guys. As always, have a great day. Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we are going to be taking a look at the Monterey Bay Knives EWC. Before I go any further in this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring the content to you. I would also like to send an extra special thank you and shout out to one of my faithful viewers, Dome Roamer. Dome Roamer is my fellow Notre Dame football fan / bud out there on the West Coast. And he sent this knife in to me to review, and I really appreciate that. I've been wanting to get my hands on a piece like this for a very long time, and it just so happens it's a little extra special model. So thank you, Dome Roamer. I really appreciate that. Now, let's get into this knife, because there are a lot of good things to talk about. First, let's go over some specs. We have an overall length of 6.75 inches, a blade length of 3 inches, a blade thickness of 0.125 inches, a handle length at 3.75 inches, blade material being M390 with a very nice satin finish. We'll talk a little more about that here in a second. And some very nice, mesmerizing raindrop carbon fiber. This knife was made in China, but I can assure you there was no quality sacrificed in the making of this knife. This is a gorgeous piece with a total weight of 2.1 ounces. So nice and light, very carry-friendly. Designed by the one and only Ray Laconico. You probably knew by just looking at this knife that this was a Ray design. And we have a price coming in at $180. Now, with all that said, let's take a look at some size comparisons here. See exactly what we're working with. We got the TRM Atom, and we got the Benchmade Bug Out. So as you can see, it's I guess I'd probably consider this a smaller knife. I've really been on a small knife kick lately, and I enjoy them so much more than I ever have, and I actually really like that. Used to be a big knife guy for the longest time, and I still love my big knives, but I also really like the small knives. There's a extra little hint of, I guess, elegance to them that I'm really digging. Here we have a couple other Ray Laconico designs. We have the Gemini from Kaiser, and we have the Mass Drop Keen. The Keen is a decent sized knife. Definitely no small knife. Don't even know if I'd call this a medium knife. I think this is a little bit on the larger side, if you ask me. But as you can see, like I was saying, when you see a Ray Laconico design, you just kind of know. Look at those blades. You definitely see some resemblance there. The ergonomics, the simple designs. I've said this before, Ray Laconico is one of my favorite designers. I absolutely love his work. There's a couple releases that we'll talk about here in a second that or later in the video that I'm also really looking forward to. And let's do one more size comparison. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint, and here you have the Wee Banter. Something kind of right in the middle of these two knives. Pretty good comparisons there. Now let's get into this blade. And like I said before, this is Ray. This is Ray Laconico, if you did not know him. And this may be one of the best examples of his work, in my opinion. I love this simple spear point blade. almost a full flat grind. And I think just about every other time I say, I wish that full flat grind would have went all the way to the top, but man, I just really like the lines on Ray's blades. I love the designs he puts together. They're just very streamlined and smooth. And the satin on this blade, it's I'm sure it's not, but it almost looks like it's like something in between a mere polish and like a hand rub satin. Very, very nice. Definitely does not have the machine satin appearance, machine grind satin you guys have seen on a lot of other knives. Probably something more along the lines of maybe even something like this Quiet Carry Waypoint, where you really see the grind lines a little more in the satin. You don't see it as much in this. You see them, but it's much more reflective and mirrory, but also nice and smooth. Really, really nice, attractive blade on this. A very, very excellent gentleman's carry for sure. The nicer thing about this blade isn't so much just the appearance, it's the fact that it's 16 thousandths behind the edge. So this guy is going to be extra slicey and with a nice thin stock. And I don't say this a lot about blades, but I'm going to say it here, and I'll say it twice. I love this blade branding. I love it. I love Monterey Bay Knives logo. That's awesome. And the only thing better than that is the way Laconico puts his maker's mark on all his designs. And that is just the R. Laconico on the spine of the blade. It's just, it's one of those things to where only he does it. And I think it was so unique, or at least from what I've seen, I think it's unique. I've never seen it on a lot of other blades. And I think people kind of just respect that and let him do it. It's kind of my thoughts. Maybe that's not the case, but I've never seen anyone else do it, and I love the fact that only he does that. So I really appreciate that. I always thought that was really cool. It's a heck of a lot better than especially with a design like this, where it's so simple on the sides. And Laconico's a long last name, so if he really wants to put his whole last name on there, that's pretty much the perfect place to do it. But no, I just love the way it comes together. I think it's a very nice, simple, streamlined look. The jimping is also very effective on this knife in more ways than one. You have it here on the flipper tab, which we'll talk about more when we get to the action, but then you also have it back here. So when the blade is flipped out and you're pinching down, you can really get a good grip there. It's not, again, it's not going to be too aggressive because it kind of levels out with the carbon fiber scales. But when you press in, you better bet your butt you feel it. You absolutely feel that texturing, and it does make a difference. So I like that. It's a hidden texture, but it makes a noticeable difference. And the ergos on this knife, the ergos are actually pretty good for a simple handle. I mean, you can't expect, dreamy ergos on something that is this simple. But I will say this. The fact that this is a double detent knife and you don't want to break the detent, I really like the way that these handles allow for you to grip a little farther back on the knife than you normally would. Me personally, a knife like this, if this was a liner lock or a frame lock, I'd be like this all day on it because it's just kind of natural to me. But you don't want to do this with this knife because of that. You definitely don't want to do that. But you grip farther back and it still feels really good. You're not going to break it, and you can still do very, very effective cutting. And like I said before, you feel the jimping there. You feel that jimping very good, and you don't break it. Now, if I wanted to, could I? Yeah, I could purposely go break it. But you have to be aware when you're using something like this, guys. You have to know, you're not going to go cut down a tree with a slip joint. There's a lot of things you're not going to do with a slip joint or a non-locking knife. So when you're using it, you have to be aware. And when you're aware, I think this knife specifically, is designed in one of the best ways I've ever personally had in hand, because I can easily and very effectively use this without breaking the detent, and that's very, very important. The clip on this knife is also very nice. It is, as you can see here, get this to focus. Well, it's rounded. There we go. You can kind of see there. It's ever so slightly rounded there, so it's not super flat. The corners are chamfered fairly well. I wouldn't say they're super, super smooth and soft, but they're not aggressive. You don't feel it press into your hand. No hot spot whatsoever. And with it being as rounded as it is, it feels very nice in your hand. Like I said, you feel it. I always feel the pocket clip. If a pocket clip's there, you're going to feel it. The question is it digging into your hand? And for me, it's not by any stretch of the imagination. It actually feels really good. And again, it's a very nice, simple pocket clip that I think looks very well on this knife and complements it very well. I also like the line that's milled into the handle here. You know, you don't, sometimes it's very, very possible to have too much going on in a knife. I see it all the time. And another reason why I'm usually a pretty big fan of Laconico's designs is they never have that. If anything, they may not have enough sometimes, but I haven't seen that a lot either. This one is very nice. The line is just enough texturing to where when you're holding it, you know, your fingertips feel the line. And does it give grip? I can't say it gives a whole lot of extra grip. It may give a little extra, but more than anything, it just gives you an extra sense of awareness of where your hand is on the handle, which that is actually really nice. You may not necessarily always realize that that your brain or in your head, you're thinking about something like that, but you really are. You're thinking about exactly where the knife is in your hand and the placement of it, and I do like that a lot. I think that's just enough to give it a little bit of texture and just an extra little bit of pleasing aesthetics to it. So I do like that. Let's see, what else? There was one other, oh yeah, the Raindrop carbon fiber. This is amazing. This is really amazing. It's real smooth too. Sometimes carbon fiber, you can see like I almost want to say like the sanding lines or the machine lines of the contouring, and it kind of distorts or blurs the visual of the carbon fiber, but you don't see that on this. It's nice and smooth and clear. The reflections off the light in the different shades of carbon fiber, you get the dark blacks and the nice metallic grays. I really like this. I really like it. Especially, I almost like it. It's kind of tough because the milling here too gives an extra little kind of a tighter sequence of circles inside the milled line. But then on the back where there's no line, it also has its own little unique appearance. So this knife has a lot of character for again, a simple design, but it has a lot of character, and the carbon fiber, the Raindrop carbon fiber really brings the character out in this knife. I like that a whole lot. And the action. Now, the action is tricky. It really is tricky, but it's by no means is it bad. You have to tinker, you have to fidget with it for a while because it's different from anything I've ever handled. And real quick, I'll try and show you. Maybe I have to flip it out here. But in here, there you go. See in there, it looks like a liner lock. The front here, it looks like just a little bit of a liner lock. But what that is there's a detent ball up there. And on the blade, which would be, on the blade, on this side of the blade, there's a detent hole up here. And then there's a detent hole somewhere down here. And that detent hole is what allows the knife to open and close. And I will say the detent's rather stiff. It's stiffer than I thought it would be. And at first it was, I don't know. I don't want to say it was annoying. I was going to say it was annoying. It's not annoying. I just wasn't expecting the detent to be that stiff on it. But with a stiff detent, it allows you to really flick it shut and open. It opens with absolute authority. I mean, the jimping, like I said before, getting to that jimping, very, very effective. I don't want to say harsh, but you definitely feel it. This is not, this isn't no baby jimping for pretty soft fingers. You will know jimping's there when you flip this blade out. And the trick to smoothly and closing it like all the cool people, like the Nick Shabazz of the world and everybody else that have done videos on this, that I can't seem to do it as good as them yet. But you got to push like right around here. You push right around here, and yeah, I still. So what happens is the back of the flipper hits my index finger. So you kind of have to. You can't push your index finger all the way with it like that. You have to kind of almost poke it like that. You got to pull your index finger back just like that. And once you get it down, you can do it rather easily. For me to do it repetitively is another thing. But again, I've only had this knife for a few days. Can't carried it a couple times and really just been fidgeting with it. I haven't done any real hard cutting with it because it's not mine. But cuts through paper just fine. I'll tell you that. It'll destroy some paper. It's one of the classiest letter openers you'll ever see. But, in all seriousness, very, very useful, functional blade. And super, super fidgety. I don't think I'm doing it justice trying to show you guys this because it's even harder behind a camera. But a lot of the guys, see, you can do it too hard too. But it is, it's very fidgety. When you'll get it down, what's funny is you get it down and you get into like a rhythm, and then you just keep going and you keep going, and it's almost like you're playing a game and you're trying to count how many you can do in a row. It's fun. It's fun, but more than anything, it's just a very, very easy to carry, attractive design, beautiful blade. There's a lot of nice things about this, and more than anything is the fact that it's non-locking. The reason they call this the EWC, in case you didn't know, it's your everywhere carry. This is a 3-inch blade. 3 inches is kind of that magic number for most places, and for a lot of places in Europe or other parts of the world, they require that knives be non-locking. So this technically is not locking. It is open with a very stiff detent. Not very stiff. I don't want to make it sound like the detent. I mean, again, you can easily, it's broke. It's not that hard to break it. But it's very sturdy in hand when the blade is out and in position in its open detent, I should say. Probably the best way to put it. But, yeah, it doesn't lock, and it's a 3-inch blade. So it makes it legal to carry damn near everywhere. And that's really, really nice. I don't even have a blade like that outside of my, my Victorinox, and I do have another slip joint that's probably the same thing. But I tell you what, slip joints just don't have the fidget factor. And in all honesty, let's be honest, this design is killer. It is an absolute killer design. And it's got a pocket clip. A lot of slip joints don't have pocket clips. It's another big thing. But you really can carry it everywhere, and you can fidget with it anywhere. It is great. I should just stop doing this because I'm not doing it justice. It's really not that hard to do. I'm just making it look extra hard for some reason. Okay, well, yeah, you can do it. I'm just not that good at it, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that I really like this knife, and my overall thoughts are very positive. Easily the best non-locking knife I've ever personally handled. Now, with that being said, I obviously haven't handled a lot, just a few slip joints, and in a Victorinox, I kind of consider that it's a little multi-tool, so it's not really a slip joint, but I really, really like this. I like the design. I like the raindrop carbon fiber. I like the ergos. Really like the action, and it's just a very nice piece. And they have it in a lot of flavors. It's a little hard to get. Sometimes you have to, you gotta wait. Monterey Bay Knives is a pretty hot brand right now. They've got different versions of these. They have an XLC, which is a similar design to this, but it's a locking knife, an integral, with a 3.5 or 3.75 inch blade. It's a big blade. It's a very, very nice knife. It's probably, if I had to pick one, that'd be one of the ones I picked. But another one that they're coming out with very soon is the Rosalinda. If you haven't heard of the Rosalinda, hop on their Instagram or get on their website and look up some pics of that. It's another classic Laconico design. It's very, very attractive. I'm gonna do my best to try and get my hands on one of those. But this is no slouch either. This is definitely, if you're looking for a non-locking knife that has a fidget factor, this is it. There's nowhere else to look. This is what you want. Very, very nice piece. And I also saw a little teaser on Instagram about this to where I think, maybe I read into it wrong, but I think they're coming out with an EWC that has a flipper tab. Now, I don't know if maybe it won't technically be an EWC then, because maybe it'll be a frame lock or a liner lock. I don't know all the details, but it definitely looked like that flipper tab on it was more of just a back regular flipper tab, leading me to believe that maybe it's just a liner lock. Me personally, with the knife laws that I have to abide by, I would prefer this in a liner lock only because I can get away with it. But there are some people that can't. So to them, again, this is what you want. I'm gonna follow Monterey Bay Knives very closely and see just what exactly comes of that, because pretty excited about that. Very excited about the Rosalinda, and very happy to finally get this knife on the table and tell everyone what I think about it. Really, really like this piece a lot. Dome Roamer, once again, thank you, buddy. And what do you guys think? What's your favorite Monterey Bay knives? Have you experienced one? Have you had one? If you have, which one have you had? What did you think of it? And if you haven't had one yet, and you could take your pick of which one would you pick? Hop on their website, take a look, and let me know. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.